nature lover.
You're one sentence away from launching your website with Base 44. Since the beginning of the internet, there's never been such a fun, fast, and intelligent way to launch online. Landing pages, content hubs, e-commerce sites, you describe it and it's built in minutes. It's kind of wild how far a short prompt can get you. Right away, it generates a full site. Pages, structure, layout, design, it's all there. Next, styling. I shape it around my taste and ask for what I like. Darker palette, different font, this is the vibe. Now let's talk functionality. I want to capture emails, done. I need payments, easy. Anything else I need, I just keep going. From a few lines of text to a live website I can start sharing. No long setup, no back and forth, no waiting for anybody else. That's Base 44.
Over $1.5 million in weekly rewards. Play crypto, poker, and casino. Instant deposits and withdrawals. Play now on coinpoker.com.
Matan, that's dirty. That's filthy. No, put that down. Don't throw that at me. That's disgusting.
It's
There's
a snowball.
pee
It's
on it.
a
No,
snowball
that's not
fight.
a snowball.
It's just a little yellow.
I'm saying, let's go get our nails done. Put that down. Ew. He's coming. Hello.
Can I wash my hands real quick? This guy threw a piece of dirt at me.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Matan, lovely. I can't wait to see you getting a manicure and a pedicure. Seriously. I almost feel like I wanted 7 years to pass before I did this again. All right. Are you scared of sitting here? Because you're like doing everything possible to avoid to get your mani-pedi done.
No, I was washing my hands because you threw a piece of disgusting dirt at me.
Yeah,
because
you didn't just voluntarily pick it up. That's right.
Disgusting
Okay, All right. How are you?
I'm okay.
Take your shoes off. You're gonna have to take your shoes off. I hope you don't have bad foot smells or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, I haven't taken a shower in about 3 weeks because leading up to this, I wanted to make it as unpleasant for you guys as possible. Don't get too close. See, that's not gonna happen. You're gonna have to keep your distance.
Yeah, no, this is gonna happen. All right, so you haven't taken a shower in 3 weeks. I thought you did that. I thought you showered like with less frequency. So you have like another 3 weeks
Well,
ago.
the other one was an accident. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see. Anyway, are you excited to get your nails done?
Yeah, I'm only doing this because to fill mine contingent, I have
Are we
to...
starting with our pedicures?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take our socks off. There you go. It's gonna be lovely. Dear
Oh,
God.
Make me. What about you? What are you gonna be doing? You're talking to me.
And this is why I think they hate Islam so much, is the usury cycle is getting really wacky at this point, because they have to continuously print more and more and more money as the end of a Ponzi scheme is hitting. And since it's a world reserve currency, it's pretty intense. The data centers, all this stuff, the way I see it is they're just narratives to give an excuse to create more money out of nothing to keep a Ponzi scheme going. I'm not worried about a super elaborate control structure. We're coming to get you and all this stuff. And it's just to get you to react like a prey animal to justify something in the future. And if you don't react, nothing happens.
This is the reason that they're winning this war. The U.S. Israel thought that they were going to be engaged in the same fear mongering that we have over here. We thought they would be able to like kill the leader and that it would just end like that. Look at the people of Iran. Like when they got bombed, what did they start like waving their flags and standing around holding hands by the desalination plant saying, okay, well, what do you want us to do? Like cower in fear? I think that was...
Yeah, and then you're free. Like once you go through that, you're like, oh shit, there's nothing really to be afraid of. And that's a nightmare for the tyrant. The most revolutionary thing Ye ever said, the thing that I think really scared the grab wars was slavery's a choice, because it is. You have to have victim consciousness, and you want to give away your authority to be a slave. And so the slave drivers and their little lieutenants, they need you to think like it's someone else is doing something to you all the time, and that keeps you in a slave mentality. And I think the future is extremely bright.
Oh, and good to see you again. You're like the one guest I have on where it looks like a green screen, but it's not. It's real.
Yeah, that's real, man. That's a live stream. We're doing a live stream by a live stream.
I haven't seen your setup like that before. It looks beautiful out.
Yeah, I built an actual physical platform. So I can't get deplatformed from my platform. I just got real literal.
You had a funny joke. I saw you talk about how cities are gay and stupid. I don't know if that was the exact words, and how like, what are people competing for in the city? It's like, oh, we're gonna go play a song and see who folds first. Let's play the Hitler song at the club, and whoever folds first is the loser. It's like, and yeah, you make a good point. It's like there's not really a real competition out here. You make a good argument for being out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's also just not a great time to be totally dependent on the system, you know? But I'm not a doomsday guy. I don't think things are just going to collapse or anything. I just, you know, lessons from Gaza and lessons from a lot of these things, the more independent you are with where you get your food, where you get your water, you know, your friendship, stuff like that, the less the thumb can press, you know what I mean?
Yeah, time and time again, I have seen it over the years. The same people, so many people that you were calling out, many people from years ago, I ended up seeing that you were vindicated about. And it's like, okay, maybe this guy has a point about getting out there. And even then, like Joe Rogan calling you crazy years ago. And sometimes you could look at like Owen Benjamin's Twitter, like maybe this guy's just a schizo. Maybe he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then the years pass and you're like, wait, maybe we're all the schizos. Maybe we're the crazy one. Why am I doing... I just sat down to get a cup of coffee, like at 3 guys asking for a picture. I swear to God, these Jews have a stand outside and they're doing Jew books and they're handing it out. They're like saying, hey, Sneeko, give us a Yom Israel Haim. And I'm just like trying to get a coffee, you know, I can't. I'm like,
that's hilarious.
You don't have to deal with that, you know? And so maybe I'm the crazy one.
No, I mean, like, usually when people come up to me, it's people I like. You know, if somebody comes up and says they like the podcast or they saw me on something, it's typically the type of person that I could talk to for a half hour. You know, I like them. It's not, I don't feel hunted. And I used to tour with some really famous people that were on that level where I got to see it early on, you know, and I've dated famous women, and I just felt like I didn't want to feel like a prey animal, you know?
What was the hardest part about making that shift? Because I've been traveling a lot. I liked Bosnia a lot. I like Malaysia a lot. And I don't know, something keeps drawing me. I don't know if it's like, okay, I was born here, I need to stay here. What was that leap? What was the hardest part?
Well, I mean, you're young, and it's like cities aren't just bad. I don't want to demonize cities. It's just when you're ready to start having kids. Like for me, what happened was when my wife got pregnant, everything started shifting. I saw, you know, how a lot of things about women that I thought made them crazy actually were like great instincts. And things just started shifting. And I just didn't want my kid to be around people that step over homeless people. You know, it's just that dehumanization thing. I started realizing that everybody was once a child, and it was pretty intense. And I wanted to be around extended family. and that drew me out more to the countryside. But it's just whatever you're feeling, man. I used to be a little more hardcore about where people should be and all that stuff. It's funny, like the more vindicated I get, the more I'm like not even mad about stuff. Like I'm just like, yeah, I can see how people thought I was crazy. Like now I have a perspective where I can kind of see through their eyes how it must have looked to have a guy that they knew for 15 years that always just loved doing stand-up and hanging at the bar and was just like happy to be like screaming in the wilderness about how everyone needs a well and what AIPAC is up to. You know, it's like that probably was weird. And now I'm not bitter about it. I just am like, if anybody wants to talk about stuff, I'm down, you know?
Well, I mean, it's ironic because people in the city that are in social environments like that all the time, they try to make weird their personality. Everybody wants to have something unique, a unique quality that separates them from the herd. And when somebody actually does, then they get actually demonized. So, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's as virtuous as they make it out to be.
Yeah, it's like their own trap. They set a trap for themselves. It's strange. Like I just had a birthday party and there was like 20 or 30 families over. And someone was like, they were just laughing. One of my friends was like, you actually have one of the most diverse groups of friends I've ever seen. It was like all different walks of life, you know, couple black people, which in Idaho is like a panda bear. But everybody just has that honesty and that, I don't know, it's that first principle of honor culture where just people get along and it's just like a great vibe. And it's just funny how what real diversity actually looks like. It requires a high trust culture so that, like, you know, you're not tribal. You know, I was telling somebody, this Israeli that listens, who's a cool dude, I'm like, you guys remind me of American Indian tribes growing up, where it's our nation, right or wrong. You're just like, you know, you're similar to the other tribe, and you'll do anything to kill each other, and then you just end up drinking mouthwash. I'm like, this doesn't end well for this. Like, you have to start getting more first principle and you know, less of this psychotic tribalism, you know?
You said that you don't want to get all doomsday. Why do you feel the need to even say that? I mean, aren't you providing solutions? You're building a community. At least you're making something. Yeah. I mean, you spend all this time in a city, you know, working on stand-up or your platform or your podcast. You don't actually have anything to show for it. Everything that you've built is just numbers on a screen. This is how many followers I have. This is my clout. This is my platform. But it doesn't actually exist. There's nothing there. So why is that doomsday to be building? Because creation is the opposite.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not doomsday at all. It's just the internet is super doomsday-ish. When you were saying earlier about how I can identify people that are up to no good, the thing that I got from all that experience as a stand-up comedian, as an improv guy, you know, I was on the show Punk'd. In high school, I was a heckler at a Renaissance festival where, you know, my head and hands are out of stock and people would pay money to throw tomatoes at me, and I had to get in their head really fast. And so I'd have to read people based on what their pride is, not what they are, what their pride, like I was trying to find their pride. And so I have that ability based on, you know, you're doing stand-up in a new environment. You know, I'd be with the Miami Cubans, the San Fran gays, the New York Jews, the Cleveland gangbangers, the Iowa whites. Like in 1 week, I'd open for Julio Iglesias. They dropped me off in Alaska. I'd have to, you know, there's no sun, and go to Iraq, entertain the troops. It was like constant new cultures. So I'd have to find the baseline, the common denominators, the first principles. And so when I see certain behaviors out of somebody, it's only a matter of time until they betray their friends, until they implode, because they're operating from this place of envy, resentment, you know, force, not consent, power. You know, there's all these like little tells that you can see.
I'm actually surprised, not to put you on the spot, like over the years that you haven't had like one negative thing, like no crash out on me. What would that be? What's your analysis? You said pride. Is that what you're able to see, to pick up from people?
Yeah. Like genuineness, where it's like, people that like symmetry versus people that like ugliness. You know, there's people that are drawn to ugly. They like deranged, grotesque. No, I mean, I don't crash out on most people. The irony is when people sometimes will say, oh, Owen's gonna, it's only a matter of time till he crashes out. There's probably been 4 or 5 people that I've singled out total.
That's true.
You know, unless, and people always come at me first and then they pretend they didn't. And it's like the dumbest, gayest thing I've ever seen. Like, people will say insane shit. And then I'll respond, and then people are like, oh, cringe, you're obsessed. Imagine being cringe obsessed. I'm like, dude, they just did a 20-minute thing on my mental illness. Like, I'm now going to mock them. And so I just never have seen anything about you. It takes a lot for me to really go at somebody. I mean, I could make fun of you, but in just a funny way. It wouldn't even bother. You would probably laugh, and it would just be organic. You know, it wouldn't, there's nothing about you that's ever made me want to say anything negative. You're just like a
the song that was a good one, because that was like a major part. It was like a whole thing for a month, and you just pointed out like, this is stupid. It's like, what did you actually accomplish? Like, you just showed who's the boss, because, you know, I didn't fold over a song. It's really not anything to be, you know, feel accomplished over. It's just it's a nothing, it's complete nothing burger.
Well, I mean, it's so stupid. I mean, it's just so stupid. It's almost hard for me to engage with. It's like, you know, you listen to Two Live Crew and you listen to any song, and it's shocking. Like, I get offended by modern art, modern architecture. Like, I know the feeling of being offended, but you just have to deal with it. Like, the Hitler doesn't even matter. It's like, who? I don't know, man. It's like, it's so outside of my daily life. You know, I hang out with people that think Hitler was like controlled opposition for the banks. It's not even, it's like a whole different level, you know?
It's just part of the zeitgeist at this point. It's
Sorry
a
about
long time ago, but I think people have moved on, and Tucker made a great comparison to how, you know, people made the Holocaust their religion, and it doesn't work anymore because of the active Holocaust going on now. I really liked your appearance, and I think it made some waves. I think Ian Carroll also talked about how he had a shift in mindset there. I think people are starting to realize that there's like I think we reached the end of this cycle where it became all red pill, schizo, JQ, and now people are like, okay, we can't just keep yelling the same points.
Yeah.
USS Liberty, 9/11 over and over again. What now? What do we do? And
well, I got a head start. That's why I can help you guys, because it's like I don't have that chip on my shoulder, and I went through that, you know. And there's something to seeing systems, seeing through the bullshit, finding liability shields. Like, the Holocaust is a liability shield. Whatever happened doesn't even matter. It's how it's used. Where it's like, because of this event, you can't question me. I'm in a permanent victim class. All that. It's just like nonsense. And so once you break through that and you understand. That's why I wrote the book, How to Slay a Wizard, because I like showing people how spells work, like how these things actually work, these word spells. Then the highest form of anti-Semitism is gratitude and productivity. You know? It's so true. That's why I'm friends with some Islamic scholars and stuff. Like, I respect your religion, because a lot of it makes it very hard to penetrate with Grabbles if you actually follow the Islamic rules about, you know, usury and pornography and alcohol and all this stuff. It's like, it's a defense manual, and I think that's one reason why people spiral about Islam, is because it's pretty laid out about the behaviors that can help you not fall victim to these spells. And that's why these despair merchants, you know, when Ian did that video about how it was really cool and he felt inspired to be productive, people were freaking out, like, negative. They're like, oh, how dare you? It's like, why are you upset that someone wants to be productive? It's because, you know, the most revolutionary thing Ye ever said, the thing that I think really scared the Grabblers, was slavery's a choice, because it is. You have to have victim consciousness, and you want to give away your authority to be a slave. And so the slave drivers and their little lieutenants, they need you to think like it's someone else is doing something to you all the time, And that keeps you in a slave mentality. And I think the future is extremely bright. I think the youth, you know, I have 4 little kids. It's like when people act like, you know, because of housing prices and women are and all that, that there's no future. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? The future is very, very bright. The 90s were very nihilistic.
I always heard the opposite. I don't know, maybe it just everything seems like the grass is green on the other side. But maybe it's also just looking into things too much, because if you look at the White House yesterday tweeted that they were going to release the UFO files and the AI video of an alien jumping over the border. It's as ridiculous as I'm describing it right now. You wouldn't believe it until you actually see this stuff. So if you look at all this stuff and you see the rhetoric from like the Hegseths and the Trumps and this stuff, you could think that the world's going to end soon. Why are you optimistic? Why do you think it's better than the 90s?
Because that's all marketing. It's like people are faster to react to a lion than a banana. I described that like 9 years ago on a podcast where instinctively a threat gets you to react faster and more powerful than a potential reward. Because you can have a banana and you know, you might be a little hungry, but if something's ready to kill you, move, buy, click, subscribe. And that is from the love of money, you know, and I don't love money. Like I need to make money, but hang on. Something just happened. Are you still there?
Yeah, it's good of mine.
Are you there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
All right, so yeah, people put money above their morality. They'll do anything to get more money, and fear gets you more money. You know, victim consciousness. Yeah. It's like alleviating somebody of their responsibility and say, no, it's the left, right, or it's mean Mr. Mustache, or it's even the Jews. I mean, that's a new form of victim consciousness where if you think that they're in control of the world and there's nothing you can do and it's only a matter of time until the AI drone swarms kill every based guy, that's art of war. Like, you're already demoralized, and it's bull.
Grainger offers professional-grade products, easy reordering online, and 24/7 support, helping procurement managers keep buildings running so people can keep working. Call, click, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know, the all-powerful God. I mean, putting Jews above God is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that seems to be people's religion. It kind of flipped. It was so many Jews have that victim consciousness and talking about the Holocaust, and now you see the people talking about the Jews made the Jews their Holocaust. They were full circle on this.
Yeah, and that's why to really own it and say, what can we learn from Gaza so it never happens again? Like, let's talk about what actually happened. Let's not whitewash it. We can mourn the children and mourn the loss, and how can we, moving forward, not get dependent, like not get in a situation where that could happen again. And that's how you honor the dead. That's how you honor your future generations, is just to learn. And it's actually much more demeaning to them too, when you look at them almost as like a coyote pacing a fence, and less of like some supernatural deity that'll keep you from having a future. You know, that's they squirt to that, man. They love that.
Well, it's still going on. I mean, didn't they just bomb some
Lebanon? Yeah, dude, it's hard.
Not even just Lebanon. I saw aid camps in Gaza. They're bombing. They're expanding into Lebanon. I would like to be like, all right, well, let's learn from what. But they don't.
But
stop,
what can you do? I mean, so what do you do? I mean, despair is the thing that feeds it, because if there was something you could actually do right now, like I'm all about it, but what can you possibly do with the system doing this?
I see all the propaganda starts and stops. It's all from America. This is where like all the culture spreads here, and it's getting so bad. Like what they try to do to get away with, you know, bombing and the rhetoric from everybody in the White House right now. You see how they always say the Islamic Republic of Iran? Every time they post about the war, it's the Islamic Republic of Iran can't have a nuke. But they never say the Jewish state of Israel. It's like subtle programming or spell casting. It's like if you ask any American, what does a terrorist look like? Immediately everybody knows exactly what a terrorist looks like. But they don't know what the definition is. So they don't know that it's violence for religious or political gain. It doesn't mean brown guy with the turban on. But this programming, if I could
that's all
fight,
spells. That's all spells. You're describing spells. Yeah.
Yeah, can you describe that? Because I've noticed how hypnotic everybody can become now. Like seeing the president get away with depicting himself as Jesus and then say that it was a nurse. It's like he must have people under some sort of hypnosis. How is that so effective?
Yeah, I mean, one thing is just continuously changing the definition of words. Exhaustion. Exhaustion is a main one where you just keep everybody's wheels spinning so they don't have the time to look into something. Like, for example, if you look up World War II, it'll say, 20 million Slavs were casualties and 6 million Jews were murdered. And they'll use the word murdered versus casualties. And if you think casual, it's like a very chill word. You're just casual. Just a casual day, And so those little programming things and the repetition and the in-group, out-group, and a lot of it isn't because people are quote-unquote bad. It's because they kind of leave the cockpit where the stresses are going, the rules constantly change. It's like how you stress an animal to train an animal. And then eventually they just offload their accountability and just say, whatever you say, it's all good. But I see a lot of people not liking him. I think that there is a big illusion that, the shills are all in, but they're getting paid. All these guys on Twitter. Twitter's a nightmare. It's just like,
really
yeah, it's just like the level of just lying, but in reality, people don't really talk about politics much where I live. And
what are you doing, dude?
Let's look at Gaza and Lebanon. So what can we do? So what I like to do, I post about building stairs, or I have an app, a social media app with the Good, the True, the Beautiful about starting families and building businesses and all that. The key is just to start getting people in a position where they don't, join one of these wars, right? Where you just give people more of a purpose outside of the machine, and you give them something else to talk about so that the energy isn't constantly being sucked into that narrative. Like, that's why they don't like independent culture. That's why they call people like me a cult leader, just because it's not engaging in their story. Because I'm looking 20 years down the line. So bad food, pornography, self-hatred, atheism, all that stuff will set someone up to potentially be,
what are you doing?
A puppet for one of these horrifying zombie wars, or they would sign off on that. They wouldn't know about it. And a lot of it is giving people something else, and it works a lot. It lowers the cortisol. They're more likely to have a family. They eat better. They sleep better. And then they're less likely to be a victim of a spell, because the spell wants you unhealthy. They want you exhausted, alone. A huge thing is isolation. You're the only one that thinks it's weird that people are killing kids in Gaza, right? That's something that I've worked really hard over the years to show people that they're not alone, that it's actually a very logical, because a lot of survival mechanism is herd. It's like, I don't want to be kicked out of the herd. And so I show people that, like, that's why the Tucker interview, I think, was powerful for people, is ridiculous amount of media attacks and deplatforming, and not able to survive. I was really happy.
So fucking stupid, bro.
I
can't with this fucking guy.
The devil, you know what I mean?
I can't, bro.
That's also part of the reason that I think
I
will have a loyalty to stay in New York City, because I want to believe that people are still good. Through all the threats and people saying that the ideology is evil and the media that's demonizing,
you're just helping the other.
I still want to believe that people are inherently good, and that's what I
think.
Really good. And I tend to find that. There's like 8 million people who are going in and out. I'm in Manhattan, the busiest place. It's like 99.9% of the interactions are overwhelmingly positive. But if you look online, you would think that it's all mayhem. But just like in Idaho, most people are not just get so invested into everything.
Zero.
Yeah, it's not what it seems online.
No, online is total. It's an illusion, man. A lot of these bots. It's really bots, and I know some people do the cope thing and say everything's a bot, but No, it is. It's just like there is these big intelligence campaigns to make people feel afraid, and we're coming to get you and all this stuff, and it's just to get you to react like a prey animal to justify something in the future. And if you don't react, nothing happens. I mean,
hope you have the same energy, buddy.
I've been on all the lists and all the attacks and all this biggest podcast in the world saying I'm going down a dark road and they're scared for my family and stuff that could get me CPS sent to my house and kicked out of banks, and people that I thought were my friends are just full of you know what I mean? And it's like, I just started gardening. I started building staircases. I spent more time with my kids. I started teaching piano, and you know, I spent more time with my wife, had more kids, and nothing happens. But when you react like a prey animal, that's when the wolf jumps. And so that's the main thing about the internet. It's like this hall of mirrors of ghosts.
I noticed that shift. I wonder if you spotted it too. People like us, we were censored everywhere, right? Banned everywhere. But I realized that, well, they realized that they don't need to ban anymore. They could just pump it with lies and just get everybody. You're right. They want to put out the bait there. That's why things look nastier than ever before. Because if you take the bait, then now you're not emotionally in control of yourself. You're now a slave. You're no longer in control of your feelings, and you're arguing with somebody that's probably an Indian smartphone that's not even a real human. This is an AI person that you're arguing with. You look at their profile, it's not real. It's been flooded with these this is a new thing, and it's actually a much more effective shift than censorship, because this will exhaust you. It will drain you away if you let it. Rather than ban people, because then if you get banned, it's like
let's go, bro. You act like you never
effect. You're like, I'm the martyr. You're the hero, right? You're the top
What's up,
dog.
Sam?
But if you just flood everyone else and you make them seem insane, crazy, and they're bickering and they're insulting each other's religion, then you just have no more energy to build a farm.
Yeah, and when you're banned, you can become competition. They can't keep an eye on you as much, and like. They learn psychologically in war that if you bomb an area, people actually get less fearful. That the real money spot that they want to keep people in is the wars over the hill. It's like fear. They start imagining it. But when people are actually attacked, like actually bombed, they can get very resilient, get a lot more local. Their faith can grow. And so it's a tightrope. I mean, the monsters don't have an easy ride, and so yeah, they want. In the end, we have free will. Like they want you to choose despair, and so yeah, I mean, like when they kicked me off everything, I started using a post office box. I started local meetups. I started my own social media platform.
Your own break.
I think that type of stuff sends a shiver down their spine, where I didn't want to play in their game anymore. And then they're like, okay, guys, come back in.
Slavery is a choice. I mean, look, Iran, for example, this is the reason that they're winning this war that the U.S. started, is because U.S. probably thought, or U.S. Israel thought, that they were going to be engaged in the same fear-mongering that we have over here. We thought that it would be able to, like, kill the leader, and that it would just end like that. And the war never.
By the way, stay in your own rank.
We've had a war on our soil. What has it been like?
Grainger makes it easy to find and order the products your team depends on around the clock. Because when boxes are packed, pallets are stacked, and trucks are waiting at the dock, the last thing you want is to run short on the supplies that keep your warehouse moving. Grainger is there to help make sure nothing runs out when shipments are rolling out. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Civil War? Our own people?
Our wars are sneaky. It's like fentanyl and stuff like that. It's economic wars.
Psychological warfare, spiritual warfare. But actual warfare, we talk all day long about they can't have a nuke, they can't have this weapon, they can't have chemical weapons. These looming weapons, these sleeper agents, these threats within. We always talk about this, but it doesn't seem to manifest in the way it does everywhere else in the world. But look at the people of Iran. Like when they got bombed, what did they start like waving their flags and standing around holding hands by the desalination plant, saying, "Okay, well, what do you want us to do? Like cower in fear?" I think that was
and then you're free. Like once you go through that, you're like, oh there's nothing really to be afraid of, and that's a nightmare for the tyrant.
You said that you were speaking to Islamic, so I didn't know that you had Islamic scholars in your phone?
Yeah.
Anybody I know?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like who was I just texting with? This dude wrote a book about the history of Negroes in Africa and stuff.
Okay.
Dude, he's a legend. Yeah, Dr. Ali. I'll send you his info. He's hilarious. Great sense of humor.
Does it get into slavery and the truth about the slave trade? Is that what it's about?
Yeah, he's like yeah, he gets into that. Just the history of the word and the history of all that stuff. It's one thing we started talking about. And yeah, we just remained friends.
And Tucker, was that a weird was that an interesting podcast? What was that experience like? You know, probably.
Dude, I loved it. I love that guy. I relate to that guy a lot. He's like a golden retriever. He's just like excitable. You know, he's got that Protestant Anglo-Saxon work will set you free vibe that I also have. We're showing each other just paths that we're making in the woods for like no reason, just because it makes us happy. You know, it's we were talking about toil maxing, and his brother's awesome. You know, and I think that the energy I brought to him was really cool because he can get brooding, thinking about, you know, injustice. You know, honor culture guys get really pissed off at bullies. I understand that totally. And so like me also just getting fired up, I think our energy's got going. And he gave me, you know, I've been happy ever since because someone the size of his platform, I think it's awesome that he just freely talks, and he does. We had a nice long dinner. We just talked a lot.
What's up,
and he's just a very open, honest guy. And it just felt great that someone of his status in the media is a good person. You know, that felt good.
What separates somebody like Tucker from all the other podcasters or the boomers, the, you know, crazy Warhawk people that can't admit they're wrong? Because he is a rare case where he's saying, I made a mistake here, and he owns it, and you almost never see anybody in media say that.
I'm actually wondering
admit mistakes.
I didn't even check my mic.
Well, that's why I respected him and went out to talk to him, because he said he was wrong about Iraq. He was wrong about 9/11. And exactly, I look at that in people. Are they ever wrong? Can they make fun of themselves? You know, and my motto is I might be wrong, but I'm not lying. And he really resonated with that. And I think the Shill's motto is I might be lying, but I'm never wrong. Where they can just change what they say from day to day, and they're never wrong, and they never have to acknowledge it, because their first principle is that truth is what they want it to be. And so when you believe that truth is outside of yourself, and we're all trying to find truth and discern it, then we can have someone describe on my Instagram parallel faiths. You know, people are like, where you can have a different quote unquote religion, whatever that can mean to different people, but have similar faiths, where you have this notion of all-powerful, benevolent God. There is truth outside of yourself. Suffering, you know, is a lesson, and to be grateful. You know, to be grateful and just crush as hard as you can. And when you do that,
I know
you can have all different kinds of friends, you know?
It's funny you talk about like conjoining faiths. It looks like you have a giant crucifix behind you, but it's just your pole. It looks like a big crucifix.
That's hilarious.
I got the Muslim stuff
back in their goal waiting.
And your philosophy, it sounds
like
the study of stand-up comedy. It sounds like the analysis of stand-up comedy. It's like, it reminds me of like what you're saying is stuff that I would hear on the Joe Rogan podcast over like a 3-hour kind of self-absorbed thing about the art of stand-up, but getting to the truth and the philosophy of what's real and what's not an objective reality, how does that coexist, and how does that have any overlap with stand-up for you?
Yeah, great question. That's why I couldn't let go of it. It wasn't because I'm some martyr or I'm just so moral. I couldn't, like, in comedy, unless you have the truth, like unless you're firmly tied to the truth, you can't do hyperbole, you know, exaggeration, alliteration, irony, satire. It's all rhythmically off. You're bouncing off truth. So if you lose truth and you start saying, like, originally for me it was the trans kid thing and the Caitlyn Jenner thing, I wouldn't let go. I'm like, guys, you know, I originally did the hasn't been a woman for a full year joke 6 years before Chappelle. Like that was originally the bit that got so many people angry, and then the whole there's no trans kids. Like I thought that I was in a nightmare, and people were just playing make believe that Bruce Jenner is this wonderful mother or something. Like it's like the best woman in the world. Like what the f are you? And so I couldn't let go of that of truth, because then I can't be a comedian. And when you're on stage and you're bombing, that is painful.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, if you're
not
funny, if you're not
resonating with people, that's the only time you short
and the way that happens is when you let go of truth. Because once you let go, it gets harder and harder to get it back. You start getting callous. You're in a delusion bubble. Lies lead to lies lead to lies, and then you just end up very, very confused.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void?
What a save, buddy.
You can know you're reaching the right decision makers.
Did you learn anything by watching those replays?
You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
But the current state of stand-up, I go to the Comedy Cellar all the time. It's not too far from where I live, and everyone feels like they're still trying to, like they're afraid of the crowd a little bit. Like they're afraid that if they go too far, if they're completely honest, that they're going to be judged for being hurtful or offending them more. I'm not trying to sound like it's like 2016, but you could still feel that.
Yeah, fear. They smell like fear. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a fear of the crowd, and so everyone will always throw in something to be liked again. Whenever they go too far, they'll always self-deprecate in a way that's not authentic. It's like you're just doing this to humble yourself.
It's condescending as too.
Yeah, it's like you're not taking me seriously. It's like you think that I'm stupid.
I think, yeah, exactly. Like there's nothing more condescending than acting like black people can't take a joke like white people. It's like the most dehumanizing thing. That's why I make fun of veterans. I make fun of people in wheelchairs. I make fun of every identity, because I'm not a mercenary. It's like I've had veterans be like, man, I love, because I do this bit on Veterans Day where I'm like, if you really laid it on the field, we'd be celebrating you on Memorial Day, you know. And I'm doing a bit about how I'm like, you guys just get free drugs, you just blast. I'm like, enough. I was gonna celebrate today because I thought it was about the people that take care of dogs and cats, but it's these veterans. And I'm like, you get the best parking spot at Home Depot. Forget about the mom. Oh no, it's the guy that just got to shoot everyone he saw on drugs for 5 years, you know? And they're just crying, laughing, because that whole torture on the pedestal thing is real, where, oh, bless you for your service, bless you for your service. And that really depresses a lot of veterans, because they're like, dude, I'm just a guy. Like and it's the same with, imagine like a race, like to act like a black guy can't take a joke about being black is the most, like that to me is the most dehumanizing thing in the world. It's just so condescending that, like, I don't know. I don't have that fear response. I mean, maybe I'm retarded or something, but like, I would never go down that road with that, like being afraid of the audience. You know, I only got racial because I used to do Cleveland and I'd make fun of gangbangers with like diamond earrings. I'd call them pretty princesses and you know, that was where I realized that if you show any hesitation or fear, they'd eat you alive, and I had to really go for it. And then to have some Jewish lady tell me I'm full of hate, I'm like, go f yourself.
It's actually a sign of respect to make fun of somebody, because you're offering a token of friendship. You're saying I respect it, and then you want to hear it back. You want to. That's the whole philosophy behind my thing. It's like, let's make fun of everybody equally. Let's not pick and shoot.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, pedestalizing anything is following a false idea of truth, and it's not real. some people think that we got past that, but there's still major roadblocks in this one. Like there's still The Holocaust idea, that's been broken down a lot, but the idea of the N-word is still like so, it's stronger than I thought it was. I thought people would be able to, you know, see that this is just a word, and like obviously, yeah, words are hurtful.
It's a crazy spell, dude. You want me to break down the spell of it?
Can you, please?
It's actually super anti quote unquote black, because as you can see, what happens is like every group you can have a subgroup that does things. It's about the behavior, not the racial identity. So when you I openly say it. I just won't in case you're on some platform or something, just out of respect to you. But I will say N-word, but I philosophically think that's ridiculous. But it's like, so you have white trash, right? You have like redneck. You have these different subgroups that's based on behavior. Like if you have a white guy doing meth, stealing copper, oh, white trash, right? If you remove that ability, like that Chris Rock joke, nailed it in the 90s, nailed it. Because is it a black guy that stole your bike, or is it the N, right? Because being black doesn't make you a criminal. You see how it psychologically flips it, where then people start saying, oh, black people commit 50% of the murders or whatever. And you're like, no, hard N's, right? It's like being black doesn't make you anything. It's not like a defining thing. It's not. That's why I call Jews grabblers, because the Jews did the opposite, where the pejorative is the same word. And I used to do a bit about how the only way you can tell if it's pejorative is in the eyebrows. Like there's Jews and then there's Jews, right? Because that's why I started calling them grabblers, because grabbling is the behavior. Like you picture the hand rubbing, the loopholing, like the gypsy grabbler, like the con man, versus just like the identity of a Jewish man. And so the black and hard N is almost like the opposite of Jew and Jew. Like when Bilzerian was on TMZ, and they were flipping out on him because he called a fat Jew. It's like, that's literally what the guy is, you know. And they were acting like it was a pejorative, and he's like, Jew though, it's the same word. And so when you have it's so dehumanizing when, if you can convince a black guy that they can't hear a word without losing all their power, oh, that's a brutal spell, man. I feel bad for those dudes. I'm just like, man, that's a rough one, because you just give up all your power. You're just like, yeah, any white man just utters a spell like Voldemort, and you just become an animal and freak out. And I mean, I'm fortunate that I don't know any of those people personally, but I've seen them on CNN.
There's people like that in every group, and I say this when people get upset. They're like, well, it's not just a word, it has all this hurt. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but look,
what though? Like, but what's the pain? Like, what is the pain?
They'll say slavery. So the slavery is yeah.
Dude, picking cotton is the easiest job in the entire world. Like, I was trying to grow cotton, but it died this year. I mean, you can fill a giant bag of cotton, and it's like 1 pound. I mean, it's just crazy. Like, why does anyone get upset that they like worked in a field? Like, that's what our ancestors all did.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'll say to them. It's like, okay, so someone called you this word and it's hurtful, right? But are you that? Are you an N?
Right.
It's like I've had people come up, and if I'm like, I've been praying in a park or something with a couple people, and then people will yell like, do you think I'm going to start acting wild and like detonate a bomb?
Exactly.
No, it's not because I'm not so like they'll say these things, but I'm not that, so I'm not going to, I don't care. Also, this guy does not matter to me, so why am I going to give him an emotional reaction?
Exactly, dude.
But
exactly.
It's hard to
but that's the big trick. That's the big trick. It's like, you know, with women, it's the hard C, where it's like they just start acting like the hard C, hearing the word. It's like a joke. It's like literally a demonic joke. And so, yeah, I experienced that when CPS was sent to my house over all these lies and stuff years ago, and I was spiraling, and my wife just kept going, yeah, but you're a good dad. And I'm like, I know, but they can frame it this way. And I had all these thoughts, I had all these images in my head from TV, and it was just terrifying. And she just kept saying, but you're a good dad. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But And then eventually it resonated. I'm like, yeah, I'm a good dad. And then I just was very chill, and they were very apologetic, and they left immediately. But imagine if I had taken the bait and reacted like an animal, then I would have, you know, it would have had the opposite effect. And it's the same thing with the hard N and all that. It's like if you stole a bike, you are acting hard N. Fact. But if you didn't, who cares? Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like a word.
It is funny that your analogy you had to find, like, the CPS comes to your house, and that is your way of empathizing with people hearing a word.
I'm good. Diana, can you hear me?
There's a pattern, like the word, like the Jew or the hard C or the hard N. They have the way they sound, the pronunciation. It's more satisfying to say. It hits different. There's no word for white people. Like, white trash doesn't slow off the tongue.
I heard a good one, Skin.
I'm good, though. How are you?
I mean, it's pretty gross. It made me laugh. I've tried to get a Glacier Monkey going. But see, the thing is white people don't care, and that's why no one can really find a pejorative, because most white people are like, ah, that's funny. I don't know. It just we're not programmed, and I think a lot of it was from the movies of the. It was the same as the Holocaust. They had Roots come out, a miniseries that really just cemented this victim, where like everybody just wants to whip the poor black guy because he's just so awesome. And the victim consciousness just exploded, and it's like, and then all the rap and the, you know, Boys in the Hood, and it just victim consciousness, and a lot of it had to do with private prisons and all that. And it's just like, enough with the grappling. It's like obviously a trick, you know.
But what's the spell casting? There's got to be something there where other words have more weight than it. Like skin, it's like, that's not gonna. If I called you skin, you're not gonna get offended. There's no part of you that you're just gonna laugh because it's a funny thing. There's got to be something where words have more weight. Is it the world that applies more meaning to it by reinforcing it in music and movies, or is it how?
Yeah, there's no problem with the word. I mean, it's from, which is Latin for black. It's like, that's what Dr. Ali was doing stuff on. There's even like, I think there was a relatively wealthy and powerful tribe in Ethiopia with the same word. I think that there's actually probably something cool about the word. It's a nothing word. It doesn't matter. You can do that. I mean, they tried doing it with cisgender. They tried making a normal people, you know, feel degraded, and it just didn't work. Everyone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? For me, the words are always behavior based. Like if I'm called a homo because I blew out candles and made a wish or something, like I'd be like, oh, you got me, you know, because that recently happened. I blew out candles and I was like, that's gay. But no, I mean, for me, the only thing that would work on me is if it's a behavior I did and they're right, you know, and then I'd laugh, but it would sting a little.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think people should get offended if they're not what the word is describing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that simple.
What game should you play, Diane?
Chris Rock nailed it, and everybody in the audience was like, yes, because think about what it takes away from a lot of black people, where it's like, man, I'm sick of these N's everywhere. Yes, it's a behavior. It's like if you feel like you're going to get robbed all the time and people are playing loud music until 4 in the morning. It's like, yeah, there's a word for that, and it's not a color.
Well, it's the messenger to it. That Jerry Seinfeld guy tried to do that same bit, and his career didn't go the same way as Chris Rock's. So it's a little
bit. Yeah, but
he
wasn't. I mean, it sounded demonic and psychotic when he was doing it. He was like,
no, it and everything.
Like,
but
that wasn't funny.
Like
that was.
We let Forkful save us time and money with nutritious meals delivered straight to our door. It takes only 2 minutes to heat up, no preservatives, and no seed oils.
They actually taste like restaurant quality food. That means I actually look forward to every meal.
These are all natural, preservative-free meals with no artificial additives.
So let Forkful take cooking and groceries off your plate.
Join the thousands that trust Forkful today.
That was... You know, it's not like every time someone says the word, it's funny. Like, Chris Rock was right. Like, what he was saying is like, I love black people, but I hate. You know what they do? They brag about shit you're supposed to do. Oh, I feed my kids. You're supposed to, nigga. Like, that shit is so true. And it's like, yes. And there's been a million white comedians do that about redneck. Oh, you just might be a redneck if you get a toilet seat and you make a car out of it or whatever. It's like, that's obvious. You know what I mean? And so this offensive, I think that's kind of pulling an economic collapse because I think people need an economic collapse. It's getting...
No offense.
Where people are like, oh, how dare you? I'm like,
I respect the hustle.
Dude, just work with your hands for 2 hours. You know what I mean? It's just the how dare you is so stupid. It's like, oh, I'm like, you're being provided for like a baby. You know, like, does someone wipe your ass? It's like, oh, my smoothie and my, you know, this shirt is $500 because it was made by a queer Italian man. It's like, dude, shut the up.
This is going to be very difficult.
Coinciding with the new culture war shift, I think people see that these things like trans and stuff are just meant to keep people arguing and bickering. Have you also noticed that people have found ways to take what was traditional and repackage them as something modern, where instead of, you know, going out and build, it's like, okay, we're going to go on a camping getaway. We're going to go hiking, and the thermoses that they have and their outdoor gear, and they instead of just embracing it, they have to find a way to spin it to fit within the modern world, instead of admitting that or like instead of prayer, people just say like, oh, I'm meditating and I'm journaling. Simple things that people have been doing forever have now been repackaged as trendy, you know, Instagram fads.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's a simulation and there was like a grand programmer. And you're like, yeah, you're just describing God and... No, but it's a simulation, though. It's like, what is it simulating?
So you said you're looking 20 years in the future. I think you got a lot of things right. What do you foresee? What do you predict, and what do you see is changing besides this, you know, this despair that people have started to feel?
I think a lot of this, and this is why I think they hate Islam so much, is the usury cycle is getting really wacky at this point. Because they have to continuously print more and more and more money, like as the end of a Ponzi scheme is hitting. And since it's a world reserve currency, it's pretty intense. And so the data centers, all this stuff, the way I see it is they're just narratives to give an excuse to create more money out of nothing to keep a Ponzi scheme going. They have to print $10 trillion in the next 3 years. So I'm not worried about, you know, this super elaborate control structure. I think things are going to get less, things are going to work less. I don't think that they're going to get more of these like elaborate systems going. I think, you know, there'll be times when people don't have power, or there's no water, or the cops don't show up, or the garbage men don't pick up your garbage, because the value of the dollar gets less and less and less. So as that's happening, there's going to be this, you know, AI is the demon. It's going to replace all life. It's going to do all this and I think it's just narratives to justify this absurd spend that they have to do, whether it's war, pestilence, these demon gods or whatever. And as that's happening, more and more people will have the ability to reconnect with reality, where you know, there's never been more of a ability to start a business, to get any information you want, to connect with anyone you want. As soon as you get out of that mentality of a video of me will live on forever and shame me, so I'll never have a job at Netflix. You know, I understand that young people have never been, it's never been easier to shame them and like have some embarrassing thing from when they were young haunt them. But if you just stop caring and you realize everybody goes through that and no one really gives a shit, like everybody has done embarrassing stuff, and it's just more in your head. The tools that are now being offered and the ability to grow food, have a family, you know, all that stuff is right there. And if you focus on things with real value and not chasing the dollar, I think the future is incredibly bright, because you'll learn how to make things. Like, you know, when people talk about how everything's expensive, they're always taking away the ability of doing it yourself. Like, I have a wood mill. So people will say, oh, the price of lumber, and I make lumber. You just make boards. And someone could say, oh, it must be nice. It's like, yeah, there's trees all over the place.
Yeah.
You can, multiple people can chip in on a mill. You can all make a ton of lumber, but that requires trust. That requires morality. That requires shared values. And so I think that the future is going to be very different for people. It's either going to be awesome or, you know, pod pornos and goy slop, you know?
But you're optimistic overall. You don't see it
Extremely.
Extremely optimistic.
Extremely optimistic. Yes.
So you seem to be insinuating like things like the demon gods and the AI fear that it's going to take over and become the new world order and replace the dollar or replace all the oil-based economy. That's all fear-mongering?
Well, yeah, I mean, that'll probably happen, but how much does it have to affect you? I think the people it's going to happen to kind of want it, where they want to live in a little pod city and have everything taken care of for them, and they get their little tokens on their phone if they're a good boy and they never say a certain word. Sure. And then the people that don't want that, I think it'll be even more of an opportunity to not do that. People forget how many people want that shit, even if they don't want to admit it to themselves, where it's like they don't want, most people don't know where carrots come from or tomatoes. I grow tomatoes and carrots and corn. I milk my own cow. I make my own butter. It's like, it takes a lot of effort, but it's like, you can totally just do it, you know? And it's like, if you want someone else to do all that shit for you, then you're not allowed to say certain words, and you gotta clip your little dick, you know?
So you just see the separation. You're optimistic because you see that people that think like you are going to thrive, and that the people that are just going to fall victim to that, the people within the victim consciousness, they spread fear, but deep down they really just want the simple life. They want everything handed to them. They don't want to have to cook everything delivered, all their entertainment right in front of their face. That subconsciously this is what they truly desire, and that's just their inevitable future.
Yeah, like promiscuity, pornography, all that stuff requires child abuse. So when people get super fired up about child abuse, you're like, well, you consume the fruit of it. Or 12 years later, she's still looking for approval from daddy, so she's making pornos and you're jerking off to it. You know, it's like, people get what they want. And when you just acknowledge it, then you can kind of grow and there's a lot of the things that people are the most scared about, I am almost 100% sure are not real. And this will be controversial because people really hold on to the fear, but I think nuclear bombs are totally fake. I think it's total. I can't stop laughing thinking about Trump may have been like, yeah, we're nuking Iran, and he had to learn that there's no nukes. Because it's the ultimate excuse to invade anyone. They're building nukes, and it's like, watch out or daddy will drop a nuke on you. And it's, you know, Japan, that people say, well, what about Hiroshima and Nagasaki? They weren't even in the top 10 most destroyed cities. Tokyo was way more destroyed. It's fire bombs. They were all made out of wood. You know, Japan surrendered because 1.5 million Russians invaded Manchuria, like the day after they dropped the bomb. Hiroshima's thriving. There's no higher rate of cancer. It's just, I mean, it's like Monsanto will give you cancer. But like, and so this idea that someone's just going to press a button and kill everybody, no, despair kills people. Hopelessness kills people. Nihilism kills people.
What about white replacement? What? This doesn't scare you that the white race is declining and that Islam is destroying the white race?
No, I mean, Islam isn't a race. So if somebody has the ability of having a child and thriving in a time of despair, then good for them. That's just the natural, that's real eugenics. So no, I'm not, I mean, if somebody can't have a child because they need a nicer car and they're afraid and all this stuff, well then that's the deal. And if, I always respect people with kids. So it's like, if Muslims are having kids, good for them. You know, that's a testament to their faith, because that's investing in the future. It's saying that God is good and that the devil is not in control and that we'll always find a way. And I respect that.
That's your only real legacy, is your children. Everything else is going to be forgotten. Everything else fades away. But your children, that's your lineage. That's the only thing that actually does stay and could be truly remembered for. Is your family.
Yeah, and it's the greatest. I mean, I love being a father. I learn so much from my kids. And the white replacement thing gets a little annoying. There's more white people in America right now than there was in 1950. There's just also a bunch of other people who can be annoying, and they can, you know, throw around and whatnot. But it's just, we have to earn our own shit. A lot of white people think they deserve all this credit. I hear these whites sometimes be like, well, we built the cathedrals and they built mud huts. I'm like, show me right now, build a mud hut. They can't build a mud hut. They're useless. You know, and I've had some of the whites get mad at me because I'm like, yeah, you should be replaced if you won't work, you're full of despair, you're a pervert, you freak out on everyone on the internet all day. Like, yeah, why would the future want you? You didn't build the cathedrals. Great people built the cathedrals with faith and hard work. You're just trying to, you know, you're on peptides so your dick looks bigger or something. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't last in this realm.
There was some philosopher who said that in a declining empire, people start taking credit for their ancestors' achievements because they have none.
They always.
That's so true, man. I see that with the whites more than anybody.
Yeah, I do.
Where it's just, I get very annoyed by it. It's like, oh, we did this. And I'm like, these are the same people that won't help you, like, build a chicken coop. They're like, oh, sorry, I just can't. I'm whacking it.
It's funny that became the We Was Kangs, is the white people talking about, you know, the Greeks and talking about the Italians and this is the new We Was Kangs, talking about what your ancestors did instead of doing anything yourself. What is the number one contributing factor to the low birth rate in the white race?
Where in America?
I would say the West.
I think despair and materialism. This idea that, you know, you need more money when you can look at children as a labor force. You don't really need money to do things. You know, I have friends that make $14 an hour that have a bunch of kids. I mean, you're not going to be going to Disneyland, but I think it just has to do with values, you know, and it just is what it is. It's going to work out. As the Muslims say, you know, God has the best plan, and it's like, we'll just see what happens. But I hope that you know, over the years, people have said that I've inspired them to have kids, and they've been grateful about it. You know, all praise to God, etc. But I'm just going to do my best to show how fun it is to be a dad, and get it going. But if not, if people just choose not to, then that's their choice, and it is what it is. And they can just be gay.
I see that problem too. Within Muslims will have like these giant weddings, and they think that they need to be this successful in order to get married. But marriage is simple. It's just marriage is an agreement, and then you are together. And nowadays, like most relationships are equivalent to a marriage. People will live together, have sex with each other, pay for everything. Totally. How is that not a marriage? The only difference is that you are committed long term. You don't need to be a multi-millionaire in order to be in a committed relationship. Stupid. But people have this idea that there needs to be this big ceremony, everyone needs to be involved, flowers, this much money. Did you have like a major thing, or was it? I'm all for simple weddings.
Very simple. Yeah. Simple, family, very simple. Dude, marriage makes you more successful. Like a man awakens when they have to provide for and protect a woman and their children. Like that's when I awoke it. Like, because I was talented and I had a good career, but I never had that ambition. You know, I liked respect as a craftsman. I liked doing my job well, but I work so much harder now because I'm married and a father. Yeah. That the idea that you get all this money and you get successful so you can be married is, to me, it's the exact opposite. Like having a family will awaken a man.
Have you noticed that the simple weddings are the marriages that end up lasting much longer? The big extravagant ones always end in divorce. Always.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
That's the Islamic belief too, that you get more rewards when you're married, because you were now responsible for others. Is that correct? This is now, you're part of a community. You're not just there for yourself and serving, because you're probably going to go into hedonism. A single guy forever, like, what are you going to do with your money and with your time? You're going to end up being an idiot. You get drunk somewhere where you don't have to be responsible for anybody. So the propensity for you to fall into that trap is so much higher.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely. I trust married guys more because it's like, it means they have to be able to work with someone else for a long period of time, and they're on some level they can't just be narcissistic. You know, when you're providing for someone and they appear healthy and happy, I usually judge the man as good, because it's hard to do, and the morality of the man kind of ripples out into the family. You know, that's why these grabblers, the wives always treat them like the richest guys too, like the BlackRock and all these people. Their wives are like, Larry, you're a you know, because the wives know that they're full of shit. The morality doesn't, like, your home knows who you are, and so when you see a woman and children treat their father well, it's usually a sign that behind closed doors they're what they appear to be.
Yeah, what is that? Because I saw Tucker got some backlash, but I think he was onto something. I understand it completely. He's talking about how women, he said it in a way like they have a spiritual power, but I think a better way to explain it, they have an intuition for, is that they are able to smell out what's fraud intuitively. Is that correct?
100%. I mean, they are, if you think about when women have been crazy in your life, because this is the case with me, my now wife too, I was up to something. Like, just honestly, it was like, at the time I thought she was being annoying and overbearing and all this, but looking back, she was right. Like, I was having inappropriate conversations with women. Like, they know. They know. And usually guys just are like, oh, my chick's crazy. Or, you know, or you're up to something. And now that I'm not up to something, she's never crazy. It's like, we'll have arguments and stuff, but it really is that they just know when you're up to something.
How are they able to tell that? What gives them that power? Men fall for so much more. Yeah, I've made that mistake, man. I'm too trusting, and maybe I'm not able to smell out the front. But what is in women's DNA that gives them that ability?
It's that they are always looking for liabilities. You know, that the Jewish culture is a feminine culture, where they're always looking for, like, the liability. Like, they're at a defensive position, so they're always looking for what people, like, what can hurt them. And so a lot of men are more of a what is possible. You know, like, we're looking at a friend and we're looking at, like, what they, you know, their potential, you know, all the good things about them, because we're just not built to be as afraid. We're bigger, we're stronger. Women and a lot of Jewish gentlemen, they're always thinking, like, how to create a web and be able to read things so that they're not harmed. And they end up being very, very intuitive of any potential threat or liability. And then they have to deal with that as quickly as they can, or else they feel threatened.
You said Jewish is a feminine culture.
Yeah.
And, like, you're out there in the woods and you build things. There's this movie, I think Ryan Gosling's playing this, like, neo character, and he's talking how, like, Jews don't have a homeland. They never build anything. They just make money in finance. And you look at Epstein, and he's saying that the Goyim work in the real world, we work in finance and in Wall Street. Have you seen, well, what is it about Jews that prevents them from being able to break a piece of wood?
I don't know, but the Jews that get along with the best are the ones that are capable of doing manual labor. I think that the underlying thing is the refusal to do manual labor, because it's so freeing, and it gets you out of your, because one thing that I think happens to a lot of Jews, and if you truly don't hate them and you actually view them with compassion, you can really see how they work, and they can get lost in their philosophies and theorems and you know what I mean? They like, so in their head.
Woody Allen temperament, you know.
Yeah, so Jesus was a carpenter. That's one of the biggest factors, where it's like, that piece of wood That piece of wood you can't manipulate with a spell. It's like the nail goes through it or it does not. And so the real world is constantly slapping you, like, get out of your head. Like, you're not, like these models, they create, dark matter and all this stuff. And it's like, show me in reality. And then they develop a disdain for reality. And that's when they're really on a downward spiral.
So is it something that's within the ethnicity, or I'm of the belief that it's the chosen idea that's in the Torah, where it's people have misconstrued. So many rabbinical Jews believe that the chosen people means that there's supreme, and it's kind of this idea that the world has been cruel to the Jews. They have been expelled in many places, and so they always live in that. This is the victim consciousness, like they are owed something that they haven't received yet, that they need payback.
That's what I mean. Why they're so feminine. They want to be adorned with fancy robes, and they want to be listened to about the pain they've been through, and they want to be treated like the princesses that they are. Like they don't want to have their hands dirty. They want to be cared for, and maybe some worship. Yeah, it's horrifying. Like, to me, that's hell. That would be hell. And so I don't think it's ethnic. There might be some correlation, but I think it's about, they track it through the mother. It's all about that priming, where it's like, you have the specialist blood in the world, but you'll never be as good as your Uncle Ira. He's a lawyer and a doctor. It's like, it's the pit and the pedestal, where it's like, you're better than everyone just because you're a Jew, and everyone hates you forever, and you'll never be anything, and we're gonna with you, and that's how you kind of create this like narcissistic little psycho.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you forever, but I want to ask you about you talked about how they are demonizing Muslims more. I've seen this ramp up, like the Tommy Robinson protests. Like, this guy was on the Epstein files, and he's hosting protests, and he talks about being anti-immigration. I'm sure you've seen this, and they have like Korean guys put bacon on their shoulders, and they have Nigerian guys playing guitar about how they hate Muslims. The French girls strip naked and show their tits to the crowd.
I don't even see it. That sounds so stupid.
Yeah, this is you see it from Randy Fine and from the Loomers and stuff. This is ramped up more, I think, more than it has since 9/11. But what have you noticed this shift, or has it always been this demonization of Muslims?
I think it's getting more intense because of the financial system. I think the main thing is the usury thing, because
Grainger offers professional-grade products, easy reordering online, and 24/7 support, helping procurement managers keep buildings running so people can keep working. Call, click, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's if you stay focused on Islam versus Muslims, it's actually harder for them to attack, because they have to kind of spell out what they're against. That's why it's like, well, what specifically about Islam do you not like? Is it the lack of sodomizing? Is it because that's like their Ponzi scheme requires infinite money printing, and if you want this globalism, you want to, the trauma and the sodomy and the nihilism. So Islam is scary to them because, and so I think they want to infuriate Muslim people to act like animals, so that they can say, look, and try and get people to run into, the arms of despair and materialism.
Absolutely. I got to send you this guy, Rabbi Mizrahi. He's you would find him hilarious. He's my new favorite rabbi on YouTube. He says that don't let the Goyim ever get gold, because they're going to melt it down and worship it as an idol. And that just seems
That's
like
hilarious.
It's great, but I think it does show a real problem. And you seem like somebody who, you're probably one of the better examples, somebody who has escaped. And maybe, I don't know how much gold you have, but you're there with land, you're there with physical, you have things. You don't play into the Ponzi scheme that we all know, this made up system that's based off of nothing. You found ways to, you found a way out, and we definitely need more of that.
It's a constant battle, though. I always say, focus on the Jew in your own heart. It's like, there's always a little thing where it's like, it'd be a little easier if I just did this and took a loan or whatever. It's always there. The minute you think that you're totally out, you should be a little worried, But yeah, silver, gold, land, family, skills, all that stuff. And I do have to bounce here. I got my gravel guy. I can tell is needs me to pay, I think.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Owen. I saw some people kayaking too. It looks fun out there. Hope to speak to you soon.
Oh yeah,
man.
You're always welcome, dude. I'd love to have you.
All right, good luck with the gravel. Keep fighting the good fight, Owen. It's always a pleasure.
Dude, I love talking to you. Let's talk soon.
Have a good one, man.
All right, peace, brother.
Peace.
Oh, I should have gone to the flat earth. Fucking Andy Milonakis. I heard that name forever.
Welcome back to Whiskey Ginger, a wave series presented by FanDuel Predicts. Hey, Whiskey Ginger fans, I'm going to be down in San Diego, Southern California. Come see your boy. Come out and see me, San Diego. I love you so much. You're our neighbor to the south. Come see me. Go to andrewsantino.com for those tickets. andrewsantino.com.
In here, we pour whisk.
You were that creature in the ginger beard.
Sturdy and ginger.
Like vampires, the ginger gene is a curse.
Gingers are beautiful.
You owe me $5 for the whiskey, $75 for the horse.
Gingers? Oh, hell no. This whiskey is excellent.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Whiskey Ginger. My guest today is one of my favorite people on earth. I say that from my guest. I'm going to meet him once again today. It's Andy Milonakis.
What's up, baby?
Yeah, that one's good. Cheers. Just a little sip. We're having a little sip. You're nursing an injury. Tell the people what happened.
So,
Cheers.
This building is kind of weird. There's like no entrance in the front. And so the Uber like dropped me off next to a bunch of shrubs, and I already have a fucked up leg with like a titanium implant in it. So I like get out and I like stumble over one of the shrubs, and it was like some Three Stooges shit. I don't know how I recovered and didn't fall on my ass, but it was very close.
You're alive.
Now I'm even more alive.
Yeah, you're alive,
Little
dude. You're
kitten.
living. You're living, kitten.
Oh, damn, man.
How are you feeling?
You'd probably be a fun guy to drink with.
Hell yeah. We're about to do it right
drinking now, but this is a little bit different.
I'd be more fun to go out with.
Yeah.
Go out with. But I don't like to go to like busy bars, nightclubs. I don't like any of that crap. I like a dingy, seedy, quiet little spot, and then just get hammered. Start when the sun is about to go down, and then disappear into the night.
I like that.
Isn't that your favorite?
I like that, but I also like bougie hotels.
Oh, you're fancy. I know, you're fancy, yeah.
But like bougie hotels are chill too, because it's like nobody else matters. You're not in some loud place where people are annoying. You're just with your group.
Right, yeah,
Just in a
you're
comfortable
private.
setting with good drinks, you know?
What's your favorite hotel? Don't say Kimpton.
Western. Best
My
Western.
favorite hotel when I lived in LA was Chateau Marmont.
Oh, that's a nice hotel, dude. Would you just get rooms or just go to the
Oh,
restaurant?
most of the time I wouldn't get rooms. Sometimes I would. But I have a funny story about Blanton's, because that's what we're
I'm
drinking.
drinking some Blanton's today. Blanton's one of my ultimate favorites. Go ahead, give it to me.
You're going to hate me now.
Oh, boy.
For a while, Chateau Marmont didn't have a good brown list. They just had...
Tequila, vodka.
Yeah, I don't know why, such a fancy hotel, they just didn't have a good brown list. And I was hip to this fucking bourbon that at the time was $100 a bottle. You buy it at like Bristol Farms, you buy it anywhere.
Sure.
$100. Still kind of expensive for a bottle, right?
Yeah.
And I loved it so much, and I wanted to drink it, and Chateau was my favorite place. We'd smoke weed in there, we'd people watch, we'd see a bunch of actors. It was just like a fun time. So I would order Blanton's there. and I would empty it in the fucking plants, and then I'd pour my Pappy Van Winkle 20 in the glass.
You'd empty Blanton's?
Yeah, I'd empty because I didn't want to be cheap. I didn't want to like sneak drinks in and be like, oh, I'm drinking for free. So I'd pay for glasses of Blanton's. I'd throw the shit on the fucking bushes, and then I'd pour my Pappy Van Winkle 20.
What's wrong with you, dude? You're sick.
That's how I
You're
fucking
sick.
roll, cuh.
That's how you roll, cut. Well, this is Rip Van Winkle. Have you ever had Rip?
Yeah, so this is the same brand.
Yeah,
but
I know.
This is 10 years old.
Right.
And then when it gets really dank is 20. The 20 is the best.
Anything over 15 is pretty. It's kind of like, you know, when you're driving on the highway.
Yeah.
And you're going 90 or 120.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same.
I
don't know the
disagree with this specific brand.
And I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, but have you had Pappy Van Winkle 20 though?
Who are you talking to? The show is called Whiskey Ginger.
So
I've
you've
had
had-
1,000 of it. Oh yeah, dude, I've drank it. I've drank
Oh,
it.
I mean, there's a big difference though.
It's I don't know. It's similar in smoothness. It's a little bit.
Similar in smoothness. This show needs to be canceled.
Cancel it. Cancel it.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Are you a big drinker?
Yeah.
I've had 1,000 of these things. They're I think they're as close as you can get to feeling the same, without. I think the pretentiousness as you grow with like, oh, and it's older and it's more age and it's like,
No. The pretentiousness is there on wine, I think.
Wine is way worse. But bourbon heads are even way worse. By the way, Pappy and all that stuff, those guys, you go down to Kentucky, they used to drink that stuff like it was Jack. Like it would be thrown around and they're like, yeah, it's fine.
Well,
they don't love it.
The demand wasn't crazy then.
I know, so that's what I'm saying. The demand, I think, socially is what turned up people to go, this is the best. It's good.
But you can't say that about me. I was buying it when it was $100 a bottle. Now
yeah, but
it's
you were
like,
high, blacked out at Chateau.
No. I wasn't blacked out.
No?
No. Listen, I don't know, man. You gotta line up 10, you gotta bring up 10 whiskey drinkers and pour them a glass of fucking 10 versus 20. Every single one will tell a difference.
You can tell a difference, but I don't think it's so dramatic where it's like, this is so much better.
Even, I think, what is it, the 15? There's a 15 and a 20 and then 23.
Yeah.
I like the 20 better than the 23. But, I think there's a crazy difference between that and the 20.
Palate preference is what I like
You're
to
a
call it.
bumbleclaw.
Palate preference, bumbleclaw. Have you ever had Old Fitz? You had Old Fitz?
No.
Old Fitz is pretty good. See, I
Is
can
it
turn
good?
you on to some fun stuff. Have you had Stag? Have you had George C. Stag?
Maybe,
No, see, dude,
but
you're dumping Blanton's into the bushes. I can't trust this guy. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And by the way, this isn't Blanton's. I don't hold in the highest of regard. I just think it's a very solid go-to for me. That I it's just like a good, solid sipping whiskey that I like neat usually, but I'm on ice because I figured you're a nice guy.
It depends. I mean, if I'm not on an empty stomach and I'm drinking at night and I'm drinking like high quality shit, I will not put ice in anything.
Sure.
Like Johnny Walker Black Ice.
Johnny Walker.
I'm just saying, like that's like low fucking shit, right?
But Johnny Walker's Scotch.
Yeah, I know, but any brown. I'm talking about any
Oh,
brown.
so you don't discern. You'll take it all.
Well, I mean, I really like cognac a lot. I feel like cognac is nice because
That's the hood in you.
Well, no. There's some high-end cognac.
There is some really good
I'm not talking about the low.
Like Louis? You drinking Louis?
I think Louis is way overpriced.
Well, it's overrated. This is my point. At some point, it's the culture that did it. It's not the thing. It's like
That's the thing. Like Pappy Van Winkle 20, I don't think it's worth $4K a bottle, but is it worth $100 a bottle every day of the week?
Of course. But they've juiced it up so much now. Everyone's
I was
overpaying.
a fan back then
Back in
when
the
it
old
was in the
days.
mud. You know what I'm
In the
saying?
mud, you in the streets. Well, now you're in the streets. You're living in Austin, Texas. Why?
Okay, it's a boring story, but I want to give you the cliff notes.
Give it to me.
So I had a loft in downtown LA, and I wanted a loft. I don't like downtown LA, but I wanted it because I wanted a green screen and shit to fucking do shit.
Do shit, yeah.
So I went to Venice to see some people with a couple of my friends. We flew there. We're gonna be there for a couple of weeks. COVID happened. Nobody was flying. Everybody was afraid. No one knew what was going on. So we were Airbnb hopping month to month, and then I just told my friend, I'm like, let's just get a year lease. It's cheap as fuck. Let's just do it. You know, we don't have to move around. So I got a year lease, and then after that year, I was like, let me see. I haven't seen my parents in a while. I haven't seen my family, so let's go back to New York. Okay, so then I lived in New York for a while. I lived in Queens, in Astoria, and then I was just stumbling over all my fucking shit. I just have no room living in fucking a Manhattan or a Queens apartment. So I was like, all right, well, I just moved from Austin. Let me just move back because I could get a big house, no income taxes, price is cheap. And then I came out here and like day one, I'm like, what am I doing in Austin? I gotta move back. So like, I gotta get the fuck back here like instantly. Just like posting a couple of Instagrams and like the opportunities that come up and people hitting me up to do stuff. Like, just I could be way more creative out here. I could be seeing more people, doing more shit, and not be like a little hermit. I travel a lot, so when I'm in Austin, I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm in hermit mode. But I don't want to be in hermit mode.
You don't want to stay at the house all day.
I don't want to do that, no.
Nah, you want to be out and about. But
Yeah.
so you're downtown LA.
I lived in LA for 17 years, so I lived everywhere in LA.
Yeah.
Miracle Mile, West Hollywood, Hollywood Hills, like fucking.
Never the Valley though.
Never the Valley.
You poo-poo the Valley. Yeah, you're one of those guys.
No, I don't poo-poo it, but that's just where I just happened to be. I lived in Venice Beach for a while, and then like La Cienega, like kind of like in the middle of like West Hollywood to Beverly Hills, just everywhere pretty much.
Yeah.
Koreatown.
Where are you gonna come back to?
I'm thinking either. I like Venice because it just feels like I'm living in a vacation, but it's just too far from everything.
Yeah, it's deep.
And my boy just moved to Silver Lake, so I'm thinking like maybe that area, like West Side.
East Side.
East Side.
Yeah.
Huh.
East Side, but everyone, the young kids live in the East Side. He's 25 years old, 26 years old now.
Yeah, I don't really know exactly where. Like right now, I bought an open-ended ticket and I want to stay for a month. So even now, I don't know where to stay for a month. Like stay in Venice Beach, so I could just kind of be outside in the sun, easy walkable, or like being like Silver Lake.
So you're on the move. What you don't need to call any place home, but do you ever feel like that's too much? You don't want to like have some roots somewhere, or you don't really care?
I always have roots somewhere. No matter, even if I like travel for like 3 months at a time, I always have a home base somewhere. Whether it's New York, like Austin.
You
or
put all
LA.
your shit somewhere.
Yeah.
But not in Austin anymore.
Nah,
Can't do Terry Blacks every day, dude.
Damn, Terry Blacks.
Shit.
Give
me some Terry Blacks. They give me some burn-ins. This all they love bragging about the barbecue down there. You're like, it's fine.
No. Barbecue in Austin is not great.
It's fine. It's fine.
Not great.
It's as fine as
Tennessee.
Tennessee bueno. Tennessee good. You know who's got great barbecue? Kansas City, dude.
Yeah,
Kansas City got great barbecue.
Everybody that I respect in the food world says KC is the best.
You must know because you got the Bourdain tattoo. You must be like a food nut.
I am.
You're a foodie.
He inspired me so much to travel a lot, and like everywhere I went that he went, like I saw his like first episode, and then like maybe like 8 years later I went to it, and the place was still open.
Oh, really?
And just like tweeting him spots that he'd been to, being like, "Yo, man, I found your spot," and he'd respond to me,
Did you ever meet him?
And out of anyone on planet Earth that I wanted to meet, it was him. And I had it was a snow day. My plane got canceled from New York to LA, and then 10,000 feet in the air, I get a message from Bourdain saying, "Are you gonna say hello or what?" And at first I didn't know what that meant. Like, what, did I not tweet him like recently? And then I'm like, oh shit! And I look to my right, and he's sitting right there.
He was on the same flight. You had no idea.
Yeah. and then like I'm
Were
like,
you on one on the plane or something? Were you hammered? You didn't see him right next to you?
No, he was like one seat back and to the right.
Oh, okay. I thought he was right there. I was like,
no,
bro,
like he was touching my leg.
Bro, are you gonna say hi?
So
are you gonna say hi?
So.
Oh, pop this mic up to your mouth, by the way. It's falling a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Coney, you want to jam it? Hold on, let him jam it.
Jam it in my ass.
Jam it right in his fucking ass, dude. That's where he likes microphones.
So he was with his wife and kids at the time.
Hold up. There you go. Make sure that arm is up. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
All right. Yeah, so he was with his wife and kids at the time, so I didn't want to be that guy. I was like, hey, I'm on a flight with you. So, wow, where are you going? What are you doing? Like that annoying fucking type, I was like, I'm not going to bother you, but can we just take a pic when we get off the plane? He goes, yeah, sure. And then we were tweeting back and forth like funny shit. I was like, I was like, yo, put in a good word with the flight attendant. I'm trying to join the Mile High Club. and he responded, I don't think I could do you any favors. She's been giving me dirty looks ever since I turned down the in-flight meal. But yeah, that was like my dream to meet him, and it was cool to get to meet him.
He was the king, dude.
Yeah.
You don't. Do you ever eat these in-flight meals? You don't do that.
If it's international and I'm like on a 12-hour flight, I kind of have
Different
to.
story.
Yeah. If I'm going on a 4-hour flight, I skip it because I'm like, anywhere I'm landing, there's gonna be some cool thing that I could eat.
Sure. You
that
can
will
wait.
be better to wait for.
Yeah.
You know.
I will take the hot nuts though. Pause.
Unpause.
Unpause. Give me them nuts. Hey, give me them nuts.
Yeah.
I can't eat on airplanes. It gives me the.
Yeah, it makes me feel gross too.
Well, the idea of it is always freaky to me because I'm like, where was the food?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I'll go to a little magazine shop and get some like trail mix or something because I know I'm not gonna eat that slop. You know.
What's the go-to in the magazine shop? Trail mix? Any candy?
I mean, okay, last time I don't get this that often because it is kind of sludgy, but like pizzeria flavored combos.
Are you kidding me? Those are so good.
They're so good.
The combos have never gone out of style. It's unbelievable. Were other kind of snacks in that world from when we were? How old are you?
I turned 21 yesterday.
Good boy. Such a lady in Hollywood. No, but I'm 43 this year, and like all the snacks of my youth, like that, when they started like getting big.
Mm-hmm.
Combos might be the only one that I still can go back to and be like, oh, I do like this. Like Pringles got too Pringly. They tried too much stuff.
Well, your taste buds kind of advanced too. Like you want real potato chips now. You don't want like fucking.
Depends though. Some days I want some nasties.
I mean,
ate a bag of those chili cheese Fritos when we shot, and those are still my favorite. Fritos, chili cheese Fritos.
Yeah. Pizzeria combos, like that was one of my old school snacks too. I used to go to this arcade called the Electric Playhouse, and I would play the same game every day. It's called Renegade. It was kind of like a Final Fight type game. Double Dragon. I'd just go to the little like vending machine, get pizzeria combos, put it on top of the arcade, and just like sit there and play.
Play it all day long.
Yeah.
That's the best, dude.
That's the best.
I love going into those magazine stores, though. I do love going in there, just seeing what they got.
And the best thing is like riding your bike to that place. Like, you know, being like 15, having a bike, getting home from school, and just riding your bike to an arcade by yourself and just
quarters, baby, quarters, baby, quarters. We used to save quarters, put them in a sock, ride our bike to. There was like an ice skating arena near my house, like a indoor ice skating arena, and they had by far the best arcade. It had no less than 30 different new games all the time. I don't know whose son that owned it was like, we got to get arcade in here, but it became the place to go versus an arcade because they always had new shit. And ice arenas are making good money because ice time is expensive. So all these kids would come in there with mom and dad money, and they would go and they'd get they'd be getting dollars in there. We would save quarters, steal quarters, find them anywhere, and play as long as we could, and then on a mission to go get quarters again. It was like Sandlot, where they're saving up to buy a baseball. It was like the same thing. How many quarters could we get to play Mortal Kombat until, we were due home?
Like, nostalgia is a drug to me. I've been buying, like, some really old school shit. Like, I bought this this game that I used to play at the Holiday Inn near my apartment. And, it's like a pinball. It's like a little pinball machine, and then there's an arcade machine over it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, when you get to a certain part in the pinball game, the screen turns on and it turns into like Pac-Man.
Oh, and then you got to beat that to get an extra ball and stuff?
Yeah, it's like a combo, and they only made like 2 of them like it. So I was like, I gotta buy this shit from the house. I've been trying to buy this shit.
Oh, you can't find it?
Well, I finally found it, and I bought it.
You did?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah, it's called Baby Pac-Man.
Was it expensive? How much? What are these things go now?
It was like $6K.
That's a good clip.
Yeah.
This is like the storyline of the movie Big, on the hunt for the Zoltar machine. I remember seeing the Zoltar in real life after that movie had come out.
They shot that in Playland in New York, right?
Yeah.
Right, Playland.
Is that where you grew up?
I grew up kind of close to there.
Pretty close. Yeah. I always loved the nostalgia. To me, I still get involved in it in my life. Like I still do nostalgic things.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, like going back to places is physically visiting is where I get the most nostalgic.
Same.
Like going back to my childhood, like the building that I lived in as a kid with my mom. It does something weird to you, man. It's crazy.
Same thing. When I'm driving around with my mom, I'm like, I tell her to stop at like my old apartment buildings that we lived in,
I don't know why I do this. I do it. I
and
love
I'm
it.
just like sitting there and like all the memories just just rush into my fucking head.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like it's the length of the pinball field is like half of what it's normally.
Yeah. So.
And then the top just is the video game. It's fucking sick.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why I do that. My wife says all the time. She's like, man, you got the nostalgia bug you have. Like, if I find myself near Culver City ever, like if I'm going to a meeting or going to do something, I'll swing by my first apartment down there. I used to live off of National under the by the freeway.
I mean, I know why you do it because life can be very mundane and nostalgia is like magical.
It's cool to see where you started. There's something cool about going back to the beginning and being like, well, look at that. How, like I remember I lived in a 3-bed, 1 bath. It was actually 2-bed, but I lived in a kitchen. I lived in a dining room that was partitioned off with 2 other UCLA grad students, and I don't know. It was terrible, but it was incredible.
Yeah, I never regret my childhood either, because, like, you know, I feel like, you know, number one, I think it builds character, but also living in, like, ghetto-ass places, like low-income housing, like, the shit that I've seen and done there when you can't get in trouble, when you're too young to get in trouble, it felt like that chapter of my life was like a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever write it down?
I mean, I would.
You should.
I mean, I think the only thing I could picture it being as like a movie is like some Harmony Korine type shit.
Okay.
I mean, a little less fucked up, but like a little less fucked up. But that style of like rawness, just like of like crazy characters,
like
and
kids.
Shit. Yeah, like, you know. Also, it was during like the whole crack epidemic, so that was like the biggest layer of all of it.
You never smoked any crack, though?
I never did. No.
God bless. Good
no,
for you.
my friend cooked it in his apartment though, and the dealer that used his apartment would like spoil us, and like, you know, as kids, when you don't have money, getting all the like Nintendo games and getting like, you know, taking us out to Chinese places, driving us to fucking Brooklyn, buying us weed, getting us alcohol, like all that shit was just like, you know, that's a movie.
It's a fantasy.
Shit. Yeah.
Cooking crack in the kitchen.
Cooking crack. You know?
Hell yeah.
I got a rap line is like reverse racism. I be whipping that white.
I'll be whipping that white. That's a great line.
Thanks.
Are you making music right now?
Well, I mean, I haven't been making recently, but while I'm out here, I'm definitely gonna be making some music. Like, I have a few producer friends. Like, I know where to go to get beats, to record, all that shit. So, like, I'm gonna get at least a few things done while I'm out here.
I feel like LA, if anything doesn't die in LA, it would be the music scene. I feel like musicians still will hold this place with high enough regard, or people will still come here to make music. Like, if all the other industry dies, and it's gone. But I think music will still kind of live in the roots of this. Like, you think about Laurel Canyon, and you know what I mean? Like, in the history of this city with music and artists kind of
I used to live on Wonderland.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think historically people kind of know, but people don't really know. Like, I had a great story told to me one time. Toots and the Maytals. You like Toots? Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I got to meet Toots.
I got Buju Banton on my shirt.
Buju Banton! I got to meet Toots. One of my day jobs was working in the music industry, doing visas for bands when I first moved out here. And my boss had worked with Toots for years. And I got to go to a show and chat with them after, which was kind of surreal. And they told a story about the time that, Bob Marley and a bunch of guys were like staying in the canyon, I guess. And they were like hanging out, getting high. And they thought, oh, yeah, you know, like, we have our weed. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to smoke your shit California weed. This is also a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, you know, talking shit, being like, we don't need this, whatever trash you guys are smoking. And then a couple of Bob's crew members were like, all right, well, I'll try some of this California nonsense. And he was like, they got so fucking cooked that they were super late for the show because they were way too, because they were smoking.
Yeah, back then the Jamaica weed was like the, you know, where you get like a nickel bag of like shake and like seeds. Yeah.
Shit, yeah, you're barely getting high. You can smoke it all day, all night.
Yeah.
But I think when their first introduction to like California weed, they were like mind bent up in the canyon, and Toots was saying how they were like late. They couldn't leave the house. Like, they were too cooked. Like, they just couldn't do it.
California weed and is incredible.
With hashish on top.
In here, we pour whiskey.
Oh my, oh my, oh my. The playoffs have been unbelievable. The Knicks historic run. One for the books. God bless New York. And now you can predict the playoff action all the way to the finals with FanDuel Predicts. All you got to do is sign up to get your $25 bonus. $25 bonus they're going to give you, all right? Signing up. Follow all the playoff dishes, wishes, and misses. Every move is a potential plot twist. And as you've seen, things are happening that nobody predicted, but you could have tried. You could have predicted the spread, the total points, and even the game-winning moments that make the playoffs, where one run, one rebound, one shot changes literally everything. From the opening tip to the final buzzer, stay locked in with every pass, every play, and every moment that moves us closer to crowning a champion. I think I know who it's going to be. I think you do too. Sign up now for your $25 bonus on FanDuel Predicts. Offered by FanDuel Prediction Markets LLC, a registered features commission merchant. 18+, bonus is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Trading derivatives involves significant risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Manage your activity with our consumer protection tools. Restrictions apply. See terms at fanduel.com/predicts/bonus-offer-terms.
Ginger. I like gingers.
Dude, we've never really like kicked it or this. It's crazy because I've seen you from afar and I've been a fan for a long time, and it's kind of wild to like all the years of you've been so public, like your life has been so public for so long.
Yeah.
Deliberately, you've done this on purpose.
Well, yeah, because like in the middle of like, you know, like shit happening, like being on every social, like since I got my start on the internet, any site that came out, like Vine, I'm like, okay, I'm on it, you know, fucking TikTok.
But you were way before all that shit.
No, I understand, but like the way to survive is like when you see this new shit coming out in the internet. Since my whole pretty much existence in LA happened from internet shit, I had to like kind of evolve with the internet. So all the new shit that came out, you know, I did shit. So like when I'm doing Vine and kids come up to me that were not even alive when my show was airing, being like, oh, I see your Vines, you know what I mean? Like,
wild.
I think that type of stuff is kind of valuable, you know?
Oh yeah, well you got to keep, I mean, you have to keep up with the times. I mean, like,
yeah.
if you're not moving with the thing, it's going to move without you. I'm not saying you need to like be beholden to them, but it is a piece of it. I mean, this is the internet now. But this is the greatest version of it because we get to make it on our own and then show them what we make, which has always been it's always been kind of the guts and the core of creation on the internet. Was like, well, when we'll make it, we'll just give it to the fans.